My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content.
All right, guys, welcome to Property Profits Podcast. I'm your host, Bryce Kaminsky, filling in for the fearless Dave Dubois. And have you ever wondered how a husband, father of two, and successful entrepreneur manages to juggle a computer business, real estate ventures, both in Canada and the United States, a laundromat, and even Airbnb rentals? Well, today's guest, Trevor Strickland from Ottawa, Canada, not only navigates these intricate balances, but also has a fascinating story of triumph over setback in real estate. Trevor, welcome to the show. Great to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Bryce. I'm excited to be here. It's a pleasure.
Do you ever sleep? Like, is there sleep in this schedule? Because I see you're doing a lot of stuff. Not to mention the kids part. That's enough to take all your sleep. But you got this computer business and real estate in the States, Canada, laundromat, Airbnb. And I guess you sleep like an hour and a half a day then.
It's that's a funny question. Yeah, it seemed like that in the past. We're getting better. We're getting different teams in places. We're managing our time better. We're getting more efficient on our processes. So yeah, I'm getting more sleep, taking more time for ourselves. Because without your health and your happiness, there's no point in pursuing money dreams, right?
You're just working all the time. So tell me, what got you interested in the real estate side? We'll touch on the other stuff, but what got you interested in real estate to start with?
Yeah, so long story short, I was probably 19. I just graduated with a computer technology degree. So I was working for Hewlett Packard in near the hometown of Ottawa, Ontario. So I sat beside a guy, he was my age. We were like 19, 20.
Mm-hmm.
And he always had these nice cars, and he said that he's always talking about tenants. So I started inquiring, like, hey, like, how are you driving these nice cars? Like, I'm driving a really old car. I think I paid $2,000 cash for it. He's like, oh, I'm in real estate. I have rentals. So I rented it to students going to Algonquin College, stuff like that. So I just got me curious. So yeah, he ended up getting me into a rental. It's just cash flow every month. I had no idea anything about rentals. I had no idea what was involved, how you vet tenants. Yeah, it was just collecting a paycheck every month. It was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, cash flow can definitely be the first step towards the freedom. So after that purchase, what was the next step? How many did you go, or did you just buy that one and hold on to it? What does the rest of it look like?
Yeah, so long story short, that one ended up being a disaster. It involved RCMP, stuff like that. Apparently, they were using it for a grow op. What I thought was my friend that I worked with, he disappeared. Apparently, he was involved with this cartel in Canada. The RCMP knew them well. So all in all, it ended really badly. It cost me a lot of money with lawyers, stuff like that. So I'm like, you know what? I'm never getting into real estate again. That was terrible. I didn't know what I was doing.
I'm out.
So
He says, I'm out.
but then I had this thing in the back of my head saying, man, that cash every month was nice. Like, I was able
Yeah,
to
now
do
you know
this.
where it came from, though.
Well, yeah, you're right. I did. So then I read a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, like everybody else. It got me thinking. I'm like, well, if I put some effort into it, I could definitely replicate this. So started reading, doing a lot of research. Ended up getting probably another 6 years later, got my first condo in our small town where I lived. So I vetted the tenants. I was on all these forums at the time. I mean, there wasn't social media like there was today.
Yeah.
So I just started reading, got a tenant in there, and I worked really hard. I really made no money at it probably for the first 2 years, but I broke even. I did make a couple bucks, and that's kind of where they got the taste of it. So time went on, and met my wife Julie. So we got married. We did renovation on the house. We bought a few more duplexes, bought some more vacant land, sold that, and currently now, a couple years ago, my brother-in-law and I just said, hey, you know what? Like, real estate's good. Let's see if we can partner and scale quicker. So we kind of went from there, and we got into bigger units. We got that laundromat with a commercial building we're running right now. Made it all the way to where we are today.
Interesting. So I guess, does someone actually run the laundromat? Do you guys run the laundromat as well? You bought a business as part of the transaction, or do you lease it out?
Nope, we run it as well. So we renovated the whole laundromat. It was about 23 years old. We ended up doing a VTB on it, which was awesome on the building and the business. So we ramped the
Hmm.
business up. We brought it up to 2022 standards, Wi-Fi, internet, vending machines. We had a pickup and delivery. We do have
Hmm.
5 staff that run it 24/7 for us, but we still oversee them. We do all the repairs. We do all the renovations. So yeah, we help out
Interesting.
on that end.
So you pay with everything you pay for is with quarters. You just show up with quarters. You're at dinner, slide the quarters over to the table, or is it mostly like I guess it's card machines now?
It is. So funny thing is, a laundromat's a really difficult business to buy because, like you said, a lot of it's in cash. But
Hmm.
we wanted to go legit. We want to show profits so we can scale with our businesses and real estate. And we did add the feature card pay. So probably 40 to 45% of people now are paying with their card. So
Hmm.
it's easier. We don't have to count the coins as much and collect cash. So it's
Yeah,
definitely made life
could
easier.
disappear and disappear. The cash disappears. So,
Yes.
um, and then we see the computer business. Um, how does that play into the whole thing?
So that's kind of been the bread and butter after the whole when I worked for HP when I was younger. And then that first rental got bad. I decided to go on my own because I always wanted to do more. I was always hardworking, like to go, 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 always thinking. So yeah, I've been doing my small business for about 20 years now. We have some employees, but we do on-site service. So that's the main bread and butter that we work at.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's been going for about 20 years, but we're juggling it now. We have everything else on the go, so it's a juggling act where you put your most amount of time and take the biggest priority jobs first.
So you're doing real estate both in Canada and the United States then?
Correct. We started out in Canada, so we've got some units up here, but now we've ventured into the US. We just found the US has always fascinated me. We've had not only have they have nice weather, they have a bigger population, they have more to choose from, they have more options, mortgages. Plus, with us and our family, my brother-in-law and his family, my partner, Brian, we wanted a vacation home too. So it kind of serves double
Right.
purpose, right? So we spent 3 weeks down there this winter in our vacation home. Now we're gone, it's rented out. So it's still making money, somewhere for us to go. I think you said it's -50 where you are. So it's not that in Florida. And so,
No,
yeah, we
definitely
just want
not.
to see. And so we've got 3 markets in the US that we're doing 3 different type of real estate in. So we're doing Ohio, we're doing long-term rentals, like 4 units and up. And
Yeah.
then Pittsburgh, we're doing some fix and flips to keep the active income going. And Florida, we're doing Airbnbs.
Yeah, so you got a little bit of everything going on. How do you manage the projects from Ottawa, or do you spend a lot of time down there?
Honestly, we've bought all the properties sight unseen. We've done a lot of research. We've built a lot of teams, spent a lot of time just vetting people, having conversations, video calls. Spend a
Hmm.
lot of time driving the Google car around the neighborhoods, checking out the
Yeah.
buildings, and just yeah, making the numbers work. I mean, if you do your numbers right, you can kind of trust that. And if you have a video walkthrough with, like I said, if you build a really good team, you can do the video walkthrough. So you can, we know a lot about construction. My brother-in-law's owned a construction company. He owns an HVAC company. And I've
Hmm.
built quite a few houses and done a lot of renovations too. So we have an eye for things so we can see potentially issues going forward. So yeah, we bought everything sight unseen in the US.
Yeah, I can recall I'd been working in Ohio for maybe like 6 months or so when I was down there. And the other day, this person posted a deal, and I'm like, that street sounds familiar. And then I Google streeted down the street. I was like, oh yeah, that's the gas station I almost got jumped at. Next deal. I was like, on to the next deal. I was like, that was the worst possible area that it was could be in. And I was like, oh, that no wonder it's familiar. So yeah, you definitely have to know the lay of the land and trust people on the ground because it can be a bit block by block down there. It could be good,
Absolutely.
one good street, one bad street. So
Yeah.
um any sort of challenges managing your portfolio from afar?
Sometime I think the biggest challenge is inspecting the work and timelines, and also with
Hmm.
the Airbnbs to make sure that the cleaners are showing up on time, they're doing a thorough job, and just to make sure it's hard because we're used to having control of all our units here. We do all the management, we do all the repairs, we deal with all the tenants. So
Hmm.
it's hard to release that to somebody else, to give up that control when that's when you're used to. So that's been a learning curve. And yeah, just juggling to make sure they show up, they stick to their guidelines, they're doing the work that they proposed in their budgets and renovation contracts. So that's the biggest thing. I mean, Ohio's not too bad from us. We can drive there in about 7.5 hours. Florida's a little different. We'd have to fly there. So it gets expensive if you have to go there a couple times a month. But so far, so good. We've had a few little learning kinks, but again, going back to the research and learning about the markets, like you said, we learned a lot about Ohio. Yeah, you can drive 5 minutes and be in a completely different neighborhood
Hmm.
that you don't even want to roll down your window in.
Yeah.
But again, yeah, just putting trust in your team.
So when it comes to real estate investing, what do you think your secret sauce is? What comes easy to you that other people might find difficult to do?
I think we just take action. I think action is the biggest thing for us.
Hmm.
We've been through a few investor groups and real estate groups. We go to a lot of meetups, and people just him and haw. But at the end of the day, just take action. If you're pretty confident in your numbers, just go for it. If you have
Hmm.
contingencies in there, at the end of the day, if you have your three exits in real estate, you should come out ahead. But I mean, once you do the first one, you get more comfortable. It's like everything else. So. Same as raising capital for us. It's an unknown. It's scary, but once you do the first one, I'm sure it's like, why didn't we do that sooner, right?
Yeah, typically capital, that's what people say is like sometimes I'll ask people, hey, well, if you could start all over again, what would you do different? They're like, I'd start raising capital sooner. So
Okay.
um when you look at the next 12 months here, what are some of your goals and aspirations for your real estate business?
Yeah, so we want to keep scaling. We've got a few projects on the go right now. We're renovating a unit actually in Ontario. So we're going to stabilize that property. It's the last unit. We're going to do a refinance. We're renovating a unit in Ohio right now, hoping to scale our Airbnbs. We're
Mm-hmm.
actually starting a new short-term rental business too. So we're going to brand it and market it and try and ramp up bookings. Maybe get a few more Airbnbs and then also get more look into the long-term units. We like the buy and holds and the larger units. So
Mm-hmm.
they're a little harder to find right now, but we are actively looking, and that's our goal. We want to get into larger units.
Yeah, I mean, it is just a matter. I think it's just a matter of underwriting. There's something that'll come up. It's not like the only trouble is like if you when deals float around, you're like, oh, you do the underwriting, and you're like, that's why it's still around because it's not a deal. You start opening the box and it's still not a deal. So, um, with all you've accomplished so far in real estate investing, what's your biggest obstacle now?
Yeah, I think a lot of things. So our kids are getting older. So our kids, we have the girls in hockey, they're in sports, they're in dance. Gymnastics. Plus, you want a life with your wife and spouse and other family too.
Mm-hmm.
So the biggest obstacle is time. You're trying to juggle all these things. You think, well, we'll make this process a little better. We'll get a bookkeeper here. But if you have that extra free time, you find something else like underwriting more deals, or maybe we can jump on another call with another team member. Maybe we can grow into this neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the biggest obstacle is time. And it's going to be capital as well. So raising capital to do more deals if you find a good deal. But time and capital, I
Have
think
you
is
started raising capital for the next set of deals?
we have not yet.
So
No,
it's all been self-financed so far.
that's yeah. So we've used like line of credit. We've done refinances. We've done business income. We've done flip income. So it's all self-financed from my brother-in-law and myself. So yeah, we keep playing that card too, like refinancing and stabilizing properties. But at one point, you're going to have to reach out and raise some capital and get into the bigger deals.
So what do you think's holding you back from really diving into the whole raising capital side of thing?
Well, it's the unknown too, right? So we're very confident in what the avenues we're in now, and I think it's that unknown. Like again, we could have said 10 years ago, why didn't we just go buy a 50 unit, right? Because it's the
Yeah, like a
unknown.
theme park or something.
Yeah, so now it's kind of the same feeling, right? As I mentioned earlier, I think once we do it the first time, it'll be like, yeah, why didn't we do this 20 years ago? It's just the unknown.
Yeah, I remember when I raised my first um one investor on this deal. I walked him through it and he's like, "Yeah, I'm in." And I'm like, "So like the whole thing?" He's like, "Yeah, cash." So it was like $200,000 cash, and he just showed up at the lawyer's office with a certified check for the amount. And I'm just sitting there like, that's it. I just had to like put the like, yes, I had to, nurture that lead and build my credibility with him and stuff like that. But it's beyond the yes moment. It's kind of a surreal experience. So um, it's really, I found historically just getting in front of more people, the exposure, like making
Hmm.
sure that they know that they trust you. Social media has been great for that, but this was back 2015 or 2016, it might have been. So social media was like YouTube and
Oh, okay.
Vines, maybe, I think back in the day. So I actually built credibility with him, with like different books like Rich Dad Poor Dad and things like
Mhm.
that, to kind of educate him between when I met him and when we actually invested together. So definitely educating them on the idea, because he was trying to invest himself, but he was uneducated. He didn't know what a deal was. So he needed someone like me to be like, okay, this is a deal, and navigate that quadrant. But I can't even recall how he got onto my list, but he was definitely showing up at the houses, and it's a lot easier than you think. But it is a factor of like getting in front of those people and ultimately just asking. So, what are some ways that you're starting to get in front of more people?
Yeah, so we have been building our investor list. We've had Zoom calls, we've had meetings, but we do a lot of real estate meetups, a lot of conferences. Um, so we are building. We've had those conversations. People do reach out to us because we're doing more social media. We've learned that. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't a big social media guy at all. Didn't like people knowing my business, but then you find from others, you got to show people what you're doing. You put it out there. And so we've been having people reach out, which is good. And then, yeah, we
Like
go
when you're
through this.
selling yourself, right? When you're selling
Correct.
that product, you have to put it on display.
That's right. So that was a learning curve as well. So we are getting there. So I think when the time comes, and we pitch whatever we have, I think, like you said, we'll be probably more than surprised what we were expecting, right? So.
So with the whole social media side of things, for people to invest significant capital, they need to like, know, and trust you. So what sort of things are you guys focusing on with your current campaign?
So we're just kind of showing our journey, where we came from, everything we're doing, what kind of buildings we're buying, what areas we're in. We're showing what we put in, how much
Mhm.
time and effort we put into these buildings. Yeah, and we're just showing where like our journey's going, where we want to be, showing how it's changing our lifestyle. Just yeah, and it's a whole mindset thing too, right? Like we're thinking differently now, and the whole law of attraction. Just we have boards that we write on our goals every day, and the more you look at it, the more you think about it, and then it just seems to push you in that direction, right? So we're just sharing with everybody our journey, what we're learning. Again, we're in real estate meetups, we're in different groups and courses, so we're constantly learning, investing in ourselves. um,
Mm-hmm.
and so far our journey's been successful. We've obviously, there's been a lot of learning curves too, but nothing where we've ever lost any money. So
Yeah, sounds like real estate. So now, if people want to connect with you, they want to find out more and possibly invest with you, what should they do? How do they find you?
yeah, so you can find me on Instagram or Facebook just under Trevor Strickland. They can email me at trevor@csinvestments.ca. I think that's
Mhm.
the best way. Social media and my email.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I really appreciate you stopping by and letting people know, as a Canadian, yeah, you can invest in both Canada and the United States. And I like the part where it was the grow up story, and it's like, don't give up, like Go for the maybe that cash wasn't the cleanest cash, but it was cash flow. So figure it out. And yeah, I really appreciate your time, Trevor.
Yeah, I appreciate Bryce. This has been awesome. And thanks for having me on the show.
No problem. Until next time, guys, we'll catch you on the next episode.
Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.